Good morning, brethren. Happy Sabbath to you all. Am I looking so tall? It's like a baby chair. I'm sitting so high.
I'll give you a bit.
Good to see everyone. I don't have to introduce myself. Norbert did. Byron did. Andrew Moses from Malaysia. If you all know Malaysia, it's in Southeast Asia. It's a very small country back home, and even though it's small, but it's been a well-recognized place those days in worldwide, because we had like something like 300 to 400 brethren in Malaysia during the time of worldwide. And my dad was a deacon during the worldwide days, and we left worldwide in 1992. And when I say it's nearly about 400 people, and not everybody turned up, but my dad managed to bring out about 100 people that we were in global and was in living. Then in 99, I joined my dad and mom to be in Christian Biblical Church, just 3 of us, and I have a family of 9. I have 6 sisters, and I'm the only son, and I don't call it a thorn, maybe the rose among the thorns. Why I said that? Because I follow my dad. So we were listening to Fred for, like, I can say exactly when I was 18 years old. It's about 20 years exactly, up to this year, 20 years. And we were by ourselves until 2016. My dad and mom passed away in 2011 and 2011 and 2013 respectively. And Roy Asanti came to Malaysia in 2016. And most of you know my history, and that's where we started to have official Christian Biblical Church of God Malaysia. So we've been officially done it in 2016, and it's my 4th year in the conference. So I just want to give you all, that's what Fred told me to do, that give update on what is happening in Malaysia. That we started with 7, just like Fred. 7 of us started in 2016, and that is what required by the government in Malaysia to register the church. And I'd like to apologize, my English is not as good as American, or maybe I better, or I'm not really sure. But just bear with me, and I have some running nose in the morning. Okay, we started with 7 in 2016, and we got registered our church in just 4 days. That's unbelievable event happened in churches of God in Malaysia, where people finding it difficult to get it registered with the government directly. It's not a third party, it's directly under the government, and it may take about 6 months to 1 year to get it registered. But I got it in 4 days, without inspection, without going through all the procedures. They have given me the certificate. I was in tears when I got it, because I want to get the certificate before I come for the conference in 2016. And God works things tremendously, and I didn't get any help from any churches at that time. I seek for help, but none of them willing to help for the registration. I did it myself with God's intervention and guidance. So we started with 7, and now we're moving into 3rd year, and now we have about 40 members in the church, and I have about 22, 23 adults, and we have about 15 children in the church. That's how church grew in Malaysia. And maybe some of you all would have heard that I've been, the word Tom, hijacking. You know, I've been taking people from other churches. You know. So it's not always that, it's always about how people have in their mind, what kind of converted mind, or the conversion they have when they realize that where they should go, and God leads them. When God leads them, and we are here open arms to teach them. So that really works. If you're going to call somebody to come and join, it's not going to last. And it's going to be a trouble for those who are calling, come join us, come join us. It's going to be a problem. So I always believe in that. I always believe in people approach me rather than I approach them. It's not going to work. So when people approach, they pay the penalty. If it's wrong decision, they pay. If it's a good decision, they get the blessing. So I always believe in that, and it's been increasing in number time to time in Malaysia. And what I always do with the congregation in Malaysia, build the quality. Build the quality in the congregation itself. That is the basic thing that you have to do in order for you to bring somebody from out and to give them the same feeling. It has to be collectively the whole church, not the elders. Everyone plays a role in the churches of God. They have to play the same role as the elders by welcoming people and put their sorrows or whatever problem they have behind and embrace them. So that's what I always educate the people in the church. So when the newcomer comes in, they feel like they are home. So that should be the starting point. So when I start to do that and I can see the increase in members coming in, and when they come in, they're very happy. And they're very happy. And it's been a stable congregation in Malaysia. We have a regular attendance weekly on a Sabbath day, about 35 people, 32 to 35 people on a weekly basis. We don't have alternate Sabbaths. We always have weekly Sabbath. So for me, I always look at Leviticus 23. It's a commanded assembly. It's a holy convocation. It's a sacred assembly. It's commanded by God, where you have God the Father and Jesus Christ present on that day, because that day is belong to them. So I strongly believe in that. That's where we can get to see. And whether is it coincident or is it a promise of God, and those who come on a Sabbath day with their sickness or whatever, they are getting healed. So the belief in that Sabbath day God give them a double portion is the belief of people. That's what people come and tell me, oh Andrew, we got anointed on a Sabbath. The next day is not there anymore. I'm not talking about diseases. I'm talking about sickness, pain, or whatever, trials that they go through physically. So it always helps. It's a testimony that Sabbath day, it's a day belong to God, and we are supposed to be there. And I understand that in US, the country is so huge that people are scattered all around that we can't attend services on a regular basis. But God is there with you all. Those who are scattered, God is always there. God encourages you. So that's the blessing God has given. But those who have congregation close by, they have to assemble together on a weekly basis. So that's give you extra boost. Like what Fred said, that's why God made the Sabbath every week, not once a year. So every week we need to have that mind so we can renew weekly with our hectic schedule. Nowadays we are too busy with things, and that Sabbath will give you a renewal of mind. So what normally we do, normally I personally have a Friday night meal with my family. With my family we have a group of people gathering together, and by the time I go to bed about 2 o'clock in the morning. So I have to beg my sisters to let me go, because I need to prepare myself for the next day and all that, and they will have a lot of questions coming in. The discussion will lead up to 2 o'clock, and they will offer, oh, can I get a cup of coffee for you to stay a bit longer, kind of thing. So that's how things goes. And then the next day, I need to apologize to Steve. He's been doing a tremendous job in go-to meeting, and when I get to bed at 2 or 2:30, I can't get up at 7. And it's a problem, and I usually get up at about 8:30 because of the time factor, and I need to prepare. So what normally we do, we will have services at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and by the time we get there about 1 o'clock, and we'll have Sabbath service. We have Fred's message on a regular Sabbath, and I'll have like once a month, and I have Bible study with them, with the congregation. for at least 1.5 hours to 2 hours in our own language. So I can't read and write or speak a proper language of mine, but somehow I'm doing it with God's help, that I do word search and all that. But it's been received well by the brethren. I thought there's going to be 1 or 2, gathering for the Bible study, but when I see the whole congregation is sitting down, after a 1.5 hour sermon and we have a break, tea break, then they are ready. They are just waiting. Andrew, are you ready? Kind of thing. So it's been going on for 6 months, and by the time I get back home, it's about 9:30 at night or 10 o'clock at night. So it's occupied, so I have to apologize to Steve that I can't be part of this wonderful job that they've been doing. But somehow God is working out things. I can able to join you one day. That is what is happening in Malaysia. And we have what always we say, like the harvest is plenty, the workmen are few. And that's how it's in Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Cambodia, and all these countries are very close by. And there are a lot of harvest, a lot of people there. So last year, some of you all remember that this gentleman, Chum. So Chum, he's a Cambodian who's living in the US for past 30 years, and he decided to go back to his country to preach the gospel. So what happened was, I was in talking terms with him, and I decided to travel to Cambodia. So like Malaysia and Cambodia is close by, it's about 2 hours flight. And the cost is not much to travel over there because we have all these cheaper domestic flights. So I got there and I got to know Chum with his congregation of maybe 12 people gathering there. So when I get there, Chum didn't know that something is going to happen. And Chum is just thinking that I'll be there to help him to take care of the people. So the moment I get there, we had the Sabbath services. After that, somebody rang Chum and he said he's on the way to come and see me. And I do not know how they spread the news that I'm there through Facebook, that a pastor from Malaysia coming down to Cambodia. But lucky I was not persecuted at that time there. It's been told, and this guy traveled all the way and he told all his friends, those who are in Seventh-day Adventists, that somebody is coming to speak about Sabbath. And he came all the way, 10 hours journey to come and meet me at night. He knocked at my door at 11:30. I did not know him. And even Chum do not know him. And he said, we are going to places in the morning. Get ready, 5 o'clock we are leaving. I said, what? Oh, we are leaving at 5 o'clock. I got places to go. I said, how long? 6 hours, 7 hours drive. All right. See you tomorrow. Kind of thing. So it's like, when I get to Cambodia, I saw the harvest is plenty. People are just waiting to hear what I'm going to speak. But Chum is the translator, is translating whatever I'm speaking, but there are like about 200 to 250 people in 3 different places that they are waiting to hear about Sabbath and hear about God. And I always have the second thoughts in my mind that I check with them, do you all need any finance assistance because they are poor? They say they want Bible. They want Bible and in their own language and books in their own language. I was surprised and I was shocked to see. So I assigned certain things to Chum that start up with which day is the true Christian Sabbath. So things are working on well, I guess, because when I came back, I do not know what is the status over in Cambodia, but I formed a team with Chum, about 3 or 4 men together, to work with Chum to preach the gospel there at the very basic level. So things are going well, I guess, and I have to get back. Maybe I might be going there end of next month or after Pentecost or maybe in July. So I need you all to pray for the congregation there and how people are going to react, because I can't do anything above myself because I can't speak their language. And Cambodia consists of 2 religions. Main one is Buddhism, 97% Buddhism. It's only 3% Christian. And out of these 3%, they have 2,400 churches. 2,400 churches. So it's like the Christianity is increasing in Cambodia. It's increasing. But the problem is, I can't speak. So maybe I might let Roy Asanti to do the translation. So that is all what I can update in Cambodia. The nation is in such a state that let God works things, because all these things which I have done, it's not been planned, and it happened just like that with God's intervention and guidance. So what I'm basically going to speak today is about what has been happening in churches of God. And I do not know what is happening around the world, because we always been taught to be in the box all the time when we were in worldwide and maybe in living or in global. You just think about your congregation. You don't have to think out. That's where people don't get to know what's the life. And people in Malaysia, they don't even know how to live by themselves with God. And my dad showed them you can be like that. By being alone with God, the Father, and Jesus Christ. So they do not know all this. All they think is congregation. We need to have congregation, whether they teach truth or not. We need congregation, like Fred said, social gathering. So how are you going to break that? It's very difficult to break those kind of mentality. So what I personally classify those people as, they are inheriting the tradition of worldwide and the respective church they are in now. It's the tradition. It's very difficult, and I have this group of people with me, and they are from that part of churches. And I need to bring out the tradition from them. What kind of tradition? Condemning others, looking down at people, looking down at their dressing, and all these kind of things that people, they instill in their mind as tradition. So you all know we are in the Elders Conference, and it's a privilege that I'm part of the group. And you all know that Christian Biblical Church website is the richest website as far as I'm concerned. Correct me if I'm wrong. As far as I'm concerned, spiritually the richest website in the world. That's what we can say. And there's a lot of work done behind the scene by Mr. Fred and those who are working in the office and all that. And he was telling about the Bible, that he had to record the Bible, with voice for us to hear, and for us to just put it on and hear. It's very nice and very clear. But it took 3 years for him to record that. Amazing. And how much of workload is there behind the scene. So that is for the edifying of the brethren, to give it to the brethren. That's why I had all these complaints from all those elders in various places. They said, you all are misusing the money, the tithes money that you're getting offering or tithes and all that. I say, in Christian Biblical Church, what people give, they're giving it back to people. In form of book, in form of Bible, in form of sermons, CDs, everything is given back to people. That's the way we preach the gospel. It's not that we get the money, we buy buildings and cars and all luxury kind of thing. We don't have all that. Whatever, even if it's a single penny, that we still give back to people. So that is the work is happening behind the scene in Christian Biblical Church. So that's the load that there. And people have a lot of accusation and all that. What pleases God, we do. When we do, if it's God's hand, it will travel a long way. It will travel, it will never stop. It will just travel. If it's not the will of God, it's not going to go further. It's going to have a stop. So that's why when I talk behind the scene, the website is something extraordinary work done behind the scene, and Steve and his team done this go-to meeting, and he's been struggling for 5 years and got things done. Not 100%, he's still working on things. If it's God sent, it's going to go further. God looks at our attitude, what we are doing, how faithful we are. And if we are not going to be faithful, if we are going to be arrogant, God is going to put a stop. And same goes to Pam when she presented the education for the children and youth. It's extraordinary work. And when you think about the workload that they have done at the back of the scene, it's huge. So we have to respect them of their work and let God deal with it and bring it out. So there are people that always look for condemnation and accusation and all that. But whatever is pleasing God, it just goes. Not everyone likes you. And even I told that to my family. I have big family. I said, not everybody like me. You know, some of you like me, some of you don't like me. I don't care. What I'm doing, if it's pleasing God, we are moving. So we cannot please everyone. Even Christ was not pleased by everyone. They put him in the cross. So we are nowhere compared to Christ. So we don't have to have that mind of the negativity. Move on to the positivity of life. So what I experienced, I have I don't want to name any kind of churches. I know there's a church that they've been running for 25 years, and they started with 100 people, and now they only have 40 people. So my question, I spoke to the elder, I said, what is happening? Oh, there are a lot of churches of God being formed, and people are just running away. It's just because of that. You know, God closed the door. There is no more calling. There is no more healing. So, and I said, and Christ said in Hebrew that He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And why is He changing it? So which one is true? Are you telling me the truth, or Christ is telling me the truth? So you tell me. So it's just like from the time God created Adam and Eve, what Adam did, said, God, you are wrong. You give me the woman. And she gave me to eat. So it's you. It's not me. So the blame goes to God. Eve, why you have done this? Oh, the serpent deceived me. It's not me, God. It's a serpent. So you see, like human being, they always put the blame on God or Satan. So they become the righteous person in the middle. So recently we heard about temptation and tribulation from Fred. That message about temptation. Temptations has come from Satan and within our mind. So we always have somebody to accuse. God is not providing. Satan is doing this to me. And what are you doing? God didn't create us as robots. Free moral agency, good and bad. So these are the problems that even ministers or elders in the church, they practice that. They say, God is not calling anyone in, so that's it. God shut the door. You know, we are in Laodicean era. God shut the door. So you don't tell me that somebody new going to come to your church. You know, it's not going to happen. So is that's the case? So those elders who really think that what they have, I have quality. Fred always talk about quality. Why we need to have quality? We need to have the quality to bring quantity. Quality within. If you have a congregation of 10, you build the quality. What Christ did in Matthew 10, He assigned apostles as quality. He teach them, 12 of them. He give them everything that they need. He give them the authority, the power to go and cast out demons, heal the sick and everything. That is quality. And next step, go and look for people. Preach the gospel into the world and bring in quantity. So that quality brings quantity. So why you have to say, my wife, myself, and my son. Quality. Done. We have the ticket to the kingdom. It's not going to work that way. Elders, most of us speak about elders. Norbert talk about unity. And Eduardo just spoke about the relationship we have with God. And Mr. Roy spoke about the forgiveness and all that, all this essential that we need in our life, that I'm not going to go through all that again and again. And this is the mind that we should have, that we have to know that every elder is appointed for a purpose, a mission, that we have to do it. We don't have to go to the street and, read, hey, come, learn about all this. It's not that. God draws people to meet the elders or the faithful ones in the church. It's not only elders, the faithful one in the church. And a lot of people bring in a lot of people throughout the ages that we have seen. It can be through somebody, a lay member. So how we know that God brings? How about Cornelius? He had a vision that God told him, Peter in Joppa, you get there. And Peter will be there. Why God have to do that? God does the calling. And we have to be the church and elders to bring them. Not just sit down and wait at the door and that somebody can come in. It's not going to work that way. God put in his mind Cornelius because he's been a very faithful man and his alms is giving. So God told Peter, just follow the man and go and see Cornelius. So same goes to the Ethiopian eunuch. That he was reading Isaiah, but he couldn't understand. Everyone can read Bible, but he couldn't understand. So God has to bring Philip to teach him. So God has created the qualities among the elders to bring in people so they can tell them and teach them how to come closer to God. That is the role. And some people don't even get that. And some elders don't get that. They don't get. They say, I don't have to go, let them come, We are not somebody who's exposed to the world that, Andrew is the most wanted man in the world. No one knows us. But God knows us. If we are being faithful, God is going to bring people to you. If we are being faithful, that is the truth that we need to know. Actually, I'm running out of time, but I've got some excuse earlier on. Okay? So that's why, brethren, that I didn't use the Bible today that I verbally bring out, because Fred told me to speak about the congregation in Malaysia and Cambodia. So I've quoted some, but I didn't really refer to the Bible. So the problem is that we have to be in unity, just like Norbert said, the unity among brethren, not to have jealousy of what people are doing. Like God has given us, we all are, a special gift from God. God had measured gifts accordingly. And I'm not referring to a lot of scriptures because Eduardo has bring out some, Fred has bring out some in the Ephesians. And in Romans, that we are a different part of body, but we all are stick to one body of Christ. We all are different. Every one of us here are different, with different blessings, different gifts. Those who are assigned to preach, they will preach. Those who are assigned to teach, they will teach. So it's been given, not that we want to do something, it's been given by God for us to do things. So we can't just sit back and see what is happening. We have to get up. Like James said, faith without work is dead. We have to really come out of it, and we have to meet the world. And we don't have to have the fear of what is going to be, what is going to happen in the world. So last, I would like to So I will stick to Ephesians 4. Ephesians 4:11. And he gave some as apostles, and some as prophets, and some as evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. So everyone has given a role. We have to appreciate one another's work, up to what extent they have been doing. It's like the talent. It's not everyone get 5 talents. God measured. God give you 5, 4, maybe 3, maybe 2. So we have to be as unity to work with one another and to edify the work behind the scene. So brethren, I hope that by knowing that what is our calling and what is the purpose that we've been called, don't think that elders is the one who's going to do everything and all the members play a very big role, because when God looks down at all of us at the same level. God is not respecter of person. And the elders is not been given promotion. They have given a job, a task to do. And God give them the extra power to deal with people, to edify people, to take care of the flock. My friend said, feed the lamb, the newcomers. Feed them, guide them, encourage them, and shepherd the sheep and feed the sheep. So this is our main motto that we have to have in our mind, to help one another no matter what circumstances they are. Embrace them, guide them, and help them.